Welcome back to your weekly roundup of everything that happened in Zenless Zone Zero, where we will cover everything that you missed inside and outside of the game. This week it's time to say hello to some dashing men with both Hugo and Lighter making their appearance. Starting off with in-game news, as mentioned, the main thing to look forward to this week will be on Wednesday the 14th, where the new banners will be arriving for both Hugo VLAD as well as the rerun banner for Lighter. This also means that it'll be the last chance for you to be able to pull for Vivian or Bernice for a good while, so be sure to grab them before Wednesday if you haven't already. Now, alongside Hugo and Lighter, the two A ranks that will be featured on both of their banners will be Sokaku and Anton. And of course, aside from the agent banners, we will also have the signature engine banners running at the same time. Now, something very small to take note of with the second round of banners is that they will be running from the 14th of May, which is Wednesday, to June 5th, which is a Thursday. This is technically speaking one day later than banners usually run, so it's 3 weeks and 1 day. Normally banners and patches are always on Wednesdays, but a single day's difference probably shouldn't mean too much of a difference in the grand scheme of things, right? I mean, what, that's one extra day of dailies, so about what, 100 polychromes, which I don't know. Who knows, maybe that extra 100 polychromes is what you'll need for that last ditch effort at Hugo. But otherwise, the new banners aren't the only thing that's happening on Wednesday, as the Enna into your lab login event will also be starting on Wednesday, where you can get a total of 10 boopons for logging in across 7 days. And then the in-game event Springtime Snapshots will also be starting, where you will be tasked to take some scenic photos of various agents throughout New Eridu for some polychrome and upgrade materials. And then on Friday will be the regularly scheduled Deadly Assault reset. This time around, the bosses that we'll have to face are the Notorious Marionette, the Notorious Dead End Butcher, and the Typhon Destroyer mech unit. Two enemies which are both weak to ice and ether. Interesting. And lastly, for in-game stuff, it only starts next week Monday, but another event to look forward to is also a Tale Through the Looking Glass, where we can write our own stories and earn some rewards by deploying our agents in some time-gated assignments. And then moving on to social media things, unfortunately there are no new events where you could win freebies just yet, but we do get some freebies in the form of some very cool looking Hugo VLAD promotional videos. The first was the Hugo demo that was released on Friday, which has a nice little reference to Shuyen's demo at the start over at NEPS. But it also features a lot of references to Persona 5, which is very fitting considering that Hugo not only is a sort of phantom thief himself, but he also even shares a voice actor with Joker. And then the second promotional video for Hugo hasn't been released just yet, but it should be out shortly after this video, and that is going to be Hugo's EP, My Curse, My Fate. Finally, we'll be getting an EP for the first time since Evelyn way back in patch 1.5. Hopefully, it's the first of many returning EPs. Now, it's possible, of course, that after Hugo's banner officially starts, we could see some retweet or fanart events appearing on Twitter, but don't worry. As usual, I will of course keep you all updated when anything like that does happen. But that is going to be it for social media news, and so now we move on to the speculation zone. And there's a few things to discuss. The first is a hot topic as of late, which is that the anniversary for Zenless Zone Zero is soon approaching. The game released on the 4th of July, and Hugo's banner is running until June 5th. So, assuming that patch 2.0 is your typical 6-week-long patch cycle, that means that the anniversary will fall within the later half of patch 2.0. Unless, of course, if you allow me to go schizo mode for a second here, with the tinfoil hat on, unless patch 2.0 is only 4 weeks long and has both Yishen and Jufufu's banner running simultaneously for 4 weeks, in which case, the eventual patch 2.1 would be on the exact day of the anniversary, or at least a day before. Now, they have done shorter patches before with a 5-week-long patch cycle for 1.4, although a 4-week patch sounds way too short though. But still, it's just a theory, a game patch length theory. Otherwise though, assuming that it is going to be in patch 2.0 with the anniversary, of course everyone is going to have expectations about what we should be getting as rewards, especially with eyes being cast on other gacha games, in order to compare the anniversary rewards between those. Now, we don't know for certain exactly what we will be getting, but my advice and word of caution is to keep your expectations low. Don't get your hopes up too much, and that way you won't get disappointed. For example, it's possible that they could announce that we're getting something like 100 free pulls, which does sound amazing, but then if 70 of those are boopons, suddenly it sounds a lot less appealing. Now, that being said though, if we were to take some guesses, even though I said just not to, I'm sure we will of course be getting some amount of free pulls in the form of lots of rewards and polychromes. And again, taking some examples from other games within the HoyoVerse, there is Honkai Star Rail, which also recently had an anniversary not too long ago. And aside from some free pulls there, a big thing that was given out in Honkai Star Rail was a free standard character. so it's easy to expect that something similar could be given out for Zenless Zone Zero's anniversary. And honestly, with the knowledge that some of the older agents are getting a rework in Season 2, it would also kinda make sense to give everyone a chance to use them too with a selector for said standard banner agent. But again, that is all just speculation, so let's not get our hopes up too much just yet. The other piece of speculation, which honestly maybe kind of belongs in social media news now that I think about it, is the fact that there is a new HoyoVerse game in the works. And it might relate to Zenless Zone Zero, in fact it might relate to all of the HoyoVerse games. But last Friday was the live stream for patch 3.3 of Honkai Star Rail, and at the end of it, there was a very short teaser video. It started off by showing the protagonist from Honkai Impact 3rd, Kiana, with a little walking bread loaf thing. It then showed Blade from Honkai Star Rail with an armored wolf. After which it looked like Kiana and Blade would have a face-off in which their little companions would end up battling each other. This teaser was for a brand new Honkai game, which we now know is called Honkai Nexus Anima. From the looks of the trailer, it looks like maybe this is some sort of Pokemon Masters EX game, where you could have agents but also their companions, and you pull for these combinations of the two. But the implication of having characters from different HoyoVerse games in one singular gacha game is quite intriguing. The issue though is that it did say that this is a brand new Honkai game, and the name of the game is also Honkai Nexus Anima. So it's hard to say if this will also feature characters from the other games like Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, or even Tears of Themis. But to be fair, it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility. After all of these games are part of HoyoVerse's own IP. They can put whatever they want in this game. Based on the silhouettes of the characters in the teaser, it's hard to know if Genshin or Zenless characters are going to be a part of the roster. At first, I was going to say that maybe the guy in the fedora could be Hugo, but then I realized just how many fedora-wearing characters there are in Honkai Star Rail. So for now, until we see more info about this game, or if we see it advertised in a Zenless Zone Zero stream or something, it's probably safer again to not get our hopes up for this game just yet. But even then, I'm curious. If Zenless Zone Zero does become a part of this new HoyoVerse game, would you play it? Juggling another gacha game could take quite the toll on a person, but I don't know. Maybe the thought of Hugo being able to interact with Aventurine from Star Rail would be worth it. Maybe if you don't play any of the other HoyoVerse games, this may not be as appealing to you, and so at that point, even if Zenless Zone Zero does get included, would it really be worth it to have these characters interact with a bunch of people you don't know of? This new Honkai Nexus Anima game does definitely look like it's more geared towards people that are quite invested in the HoyoVerse universe, or specifically the Honkai universe maybe, who already play at least 2 of the gacha games that they make. So having them play a 3rd gacha game seems quite daunting. To be fair though, I'm not really sure how many people actually juggle all 3 or even like 2 at most of the various HoyoVerse gacha games between Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, and Star Rail. But if you are one of those people that play several of the HoyoVerse gacha games, this, I guess, like quote-unquote collaboration or mashup of the various games does seem like quite an enticing option for you. But of course, as usual, all of this is purely speculation for the new Honkai Nexus Anima game. Otherwise, as always, thank you all for watching until the end. If you enjoyed the video, liking, commenting, and subscribing is greatly appreciated. And so, I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!